Hello my friends, welcome to this quick Lucian voiceover that I'm making right now. This was a 1.4K LP game on EOS server, and I just want to share you basically every thought that I have in game and how I'm playing the game in SoloQ. Who am I to tell you though? I was a full-time pro player, reached Challenger the past 5 seasons on AD carry, and now let's go straight into the video. So when I'm going to lane and I'm playing Lucian in Italy, I know I have the stronger level 1, or basically the enemies are not contesting the lane. So what I did is I'm just running into the lane, basically forcing out their ward. In best case, my support even has a sweeper and we can play around that. Now when it comes to the lane itself, you see that I'm always just trying to chunk the enemy. What's really important is that I'm not having like a really bad body language and I'm staying back all the time because I see my Nidalee that wants to trade here all the time. So what I kind of do is I try to stay into proximity with my Nidalee so she can actually poke. Because if I would run out right now, then the enemies would obviously have like a triangle, let's say like this. But they can just run up at my Nidalee and try to poke her back. So what I try to do is I try to enable my Nidalee here and just be close to her in proximity. So now we're just playing the first waves, which is pretty chill. You see I'm still trying to have a pretty aggressive body language, so now I can access the second wave pretty early, which I'm also doing. This Q was really bad by me because I should use my Q to actually get the level up timer. Now I used my Q, I didn't even hit like the enemy, I didn't hit a minion, so that was pretty bad. I should have used it to get level 2, but it's also good if we can feedback ourselves, and I will also do that in this video if I like fuck up things, you know. So now the level up timer is actually coming. You see on the minion I'm already clicking forward. My Nidalee is pretty deep already. You see I'm just dashing in, getting barrier out, I'm using my Q, and now the enemy is actually giving me auto attack back, so I can proc my PTA, another 130 damage, and the Lucian and the Jhin, sorry, is now pretty low HP. So now what I want to do is I can just play the wave slow. It's really hard for the enemy AD carry now to step up. So what I want to do is I want to punish on the minions that he's stepping up to. You see here, for example, I'm taking a really bad trade, which was pretty bad by me. I'm just trying to chunk the enemy still. Whenever the Jhin is trying to step up for a minion, I will look to punish him. So my Nidalee is pinging on my way already. I know it myself that I want to punish as well. So the moment Jhin is stepping up for this minion, I know, okay, it's my timer to potentially trade. So now he's going for the minion. He's actually giving me auto attack. I use my E after and then Q to proc my PTA first, right? And then put my damage on them, and now I'm just pushing the wave so I can actually make it crash. So now you see I'm just hitting. Okay, I'm checking F keys again. I'm just pressing B, getting my sheen. Really nice. So now just coming back to lane, now you have like multiple options because the enemies just hard pushed this wave after I crashed the wave. So now what I should probably do is I should just maintain the freeze here. So I should hold the wave and just chill basically and maintain the freeze, because then it's really hard for the enemies. The reason I'm not doing it is because I'm actually a bit scared that the enemies are going onto my Briar in the jungle. So what I decide to do here is I queue the wave and I ping that I'm on my way to potentially help for the scuttle. But in hindsight, this was probably pretty bad and could have been fixed by like better camera movement, but like better be safe than sorry. So now I have a neutral wave instead of a freezing wave state, which is worse for me, but at least my jungler for sure got the scrap, and it's all good for me. So now you see I'm having a wave, and what's really important to mention is that I'm never really trying, or at least I should not try to hit the wave for fun. So you see that I have a wave here and I'm just slow pushing. What I should do actually, and I'm doing this wrong, I see with this while watching like my own gameplay, is I should be more aggressive, right? My body language is a bit too passive. I should probably zone the 3 melee minions that just died here, or like let's say the 2 melee minions, and I should push a bit more aggressive to at least make Jhin like, you know, give him the option to step back, or if he steps upwards, then probably someone is behind. So I didn't do this. Really bad body language by me, but this is what we're here for, to also look at our mistakes that we are doing. So now I'm just slow pushing, and whenever I can get a good trade, I'm just trying to get the trade. And now nothing really happens. You see I'm just slow pushing, trying to chunk the Jhin every single time. I basically see a window, and now my team is actually playing the Drake, so I kind of hover into the Drake side, just making sure we get it for free. Now I'm taking a bad trade, you know, but I'm making sure that the enemies are not moving into Dragon and potentially contest it. I sadly need to use my barrier for this, but it's still completely fine for me. So now what a lot of people would do is, or struggle with, is actually finding a recoil timer. But finding a recoil timer is not hard here because I usually want to base on a neutral wave. That means that right now, for example, you see this wave, right? And a lot of people always want to crash waves into the enemy turret. Yes, that's the best thing that could potentially happen. But the issue is I'm not getting it. And especially if the level of play is a bit higher, then it gets really hard to do that. So what I do now is I'm basically just doing a neutral wave. So now the minions meet exactly in the middle, not a slow push, nothing. And it's a cannon wave. So if the enemies would stay right now and push, then I'm not really losing a lot. But if the enemies base now, then we are losing the same amount of minions, kinda. I'm just a bit late to the lane, or like later than the enemies. So now the enemies actually didn't push, they went base as well. I got back to lane and I have super good wave state for myself. Now what I'm doing is I basically just pushed in the enemy wave, nothing really happened, and I see my mid laner and my support fighting right now. So the moment Melio shows, I'm using my potion and I'm immediately going in, trading onto the Jhin. Now, I kind of fuck up mechanically, honestly. This was really bad. I could have flashed for my ult. I should probably have dodged this one. But, I'm just trying to connect to my team. I am always fine on this. And now we're just getting a free kill. I can actually push in the next wave and now get my base in. If I, for example, want to destroy my tempo a bit and greed for my item, I could maybe look to stay here with like another Nidalee here, which I could probably do. And then basically waste my tempo, but I will get my item for that. You will see in the future now that I get back to lane. You see I'm slow pushing again. And then I'm just pushing a wave. But the issue is I still need gold for my item again. So I'm just hard pushing again. And now I base for my item. This means that I kind of lost like, let's say 1.5 minutes or maybe like even 2 minutes where I could have potentially played way more aggressive on the enemy and already like completely cooking them in lane if I would have greeted for that one wave earlier. But now I got my item. I'm still just taking my base. And you see, I'm just trying to like have consistent gameplay because I have 100 CS. I'm pretty far up in CS. I have a lot of windows to punish the enemy right now because I'm just this fat. And yeah, this makes the game pretty easy to play. Now the Drake sequence, I'm just trying to hard push this one. And what's important now is that I'm actually looking at my team, what they are doing to make like a good decision. Because if I'm not looking, then I would just like push this wave and do nothing, right? So now I already hover here because I know I want potentially go into the dragon side or like contest the Drake or like maybe help my teammates. So what I do is I'm taking this cannon minion and now I don't take the caster anymore, I just move. And now we see that he is just flashing out, okay? So it will potentially be a pretty free Drake. He has no access over this wall, he cannot get in, right? He has no flash, so it's a free Drake for us. And this was mainly because we actually had the move on bot lane, so that was really nice. Okay, and now every single time I have a neutral wave or like a slow pushing wave, I want to punish the enemy. The enemies are pretty far behind, they cannot really do much, and you see I'm fucking up mechanically again here with my ultimate. I should have just ulted before and like probably even hold my E or just start with my ultimate, but it's still fine. Even though I'm not playing good mechanically, you see that by just using fundamentals, it's really easy to punish the enemy, and I already have like a 40 CS lead. So now what happens is I'm just pushing in and we should just play the dive here. I'm not sure why my Nidalee is running around like this. So I was a bit scared to dive because I was unsure about what my Nidalee is actually doing. But then eventually we just got the dive off. She's healing, nothing too crazy. Like Nidalee is just holding aggro. I take this. And by this we got a good dive. After that, sadly I died to enemy mid lane roam, which was like 100% my bad. And now what happens is that I'm using triggers, and the trigger for me going in on this Jhin is that the enemy Melio is actually showing top and my Nidalee spot. So what I want to do is I want to dive on this wave. So what I'm doing is I try to chunk the enemy Jhin. Okay, nice, I got a good chunk, 500 HP. So now the Jhin has two options. Either he's going base and I will just take the turret or like take plates probably. I will probably take the turret, I have 3 grubs. Or we can actually dive the Jhin if he decides to stay. So even in a 1v1 scenario, I would just dive the Jhin here. I'm not sure why he's staying, but it's a pretty free dive to just pull off, right? He has nothing. So now I'm just taking this one, and a lot of people would run out to their side now, but I want to take the enemy wave as high as possible. That means I'm running up to the enemy wave already, and yeah, just taking this turret. Then I see on the minimap already that there's another wave coming, so I already play for the next wave as well, because obviously we want to crash, right? My Nidalee is kind of preparing the red buff for me, which is nice by her. I take this red buff, and now I should probably just base because I have my item. What I do instead though is I'm greeting one more wave on mid lane, which is like fine, I would say, because I'm just trying to maximize my resources, but in terms of tempo, it's really bad what I'm doing. So now I play 2 more waves on mid lane, I go base, and now I'm really strong. We can quickly take a look at the stats. You see I'm 170 CS and the Jhin is 120, so pretty much 50 CS lead. I would say I have 2 items, Jin has 1 item, and you see, even though I didn't really play good mechanically, just using fundamentals, I'm so far ahead. I'm 70 CS up on everyone in my team, so that's a lot of gold, I would say. Now, the game basically just starts, so now let's see how we can actually transition the lead that I built up on bot lane onto the map. Really important is that we try to swap, like, kinda early-ish, so going bot lane right now is really bad for me. What I try to do now is just get every single mid wave in and try to impact the game by this, like by either chunking on mid waves or like moving into jungle. So for example now, right, so it's the same in League, I pushed in the mid wave and then we can decide where do we move, like do we move backwards, towards top, towards bot. So I'm fogging in here because I know my team wants to potentially play here. But the moment I see that there's like no play anymore, I'm just going to my blue buff, I'm taking the blue buff, and a lot of people would run down now to this play. But what I'm doing instead though is I'm playing the mid wave first. Really important as AD carry, getting these mid priors in. So I'm pushing this mid lane wave, I see Milius bot, okay, Jhin is top and Yon is dead. So right now I'm counting 4 people on the map and the Yon is dead. So no one can be mid lane here. That means for me, a lot of people would run to Dragon now, but it's like a 3-3 on bot side. So why would I move to Dragon right now? My team is full HP. There's no way they can potentially like fuck this up. I should probably look with my camera a bit more here onto the Drake and the HP. But I have full vision onto the enemies and I have 3 grubs, so all I'm doing is I'm just hitting this mid lane turret and just getting gold for free basically. So now the Yi is trying to fight me a bit. I know that I'm pretty tanky, so this guy should never really win. I'm just getting a free kill. After that I'm getting the turret. And you see it's the same pattern again and again. I push out these mid lane waves really deep, and instead of skipping these waves to hitting an objective, here for example, a lot of people would go to the objective. I'm just playing this mid wave again. Okay, and now I move to the objective. Really, really important. So after taking this objective, you see, I will go to mid lane wave again. I'm taking this mid lane wave. Then next mid lane wave I'm taking again as high as possible. So we can always say taking a mid wave really high, taking a mid wave like mid, or taking a mid wave low, or rather like receiving a mid wave by just accepting it, you know, if the enemies have push, for example. But right now we are ahead, so we want to play as fast as possible. Now I'm basing, I'm getting my IE, making sure I'm on next mid lane wave again. I'm pushing this in. Really, really nice. And you see, every single mid lane wave is mine. I just try to get this prio. And the reason why also getting this prio is so important is because by taking mid lane priors, we would always have first access into river. So you see right now, like let's say there would be a fight breaking out, I would have first access to river. I see that the enemies are like moving out, right? A lot of people would now move through on bot lane. That is really bad. What I do instead though is that I'm looking onto the Jhin, because running into this bot lane play will, like, I have no wave to play on. So this bot lane play will be, I mean, it can be good, let's say it like this, but it's like really flippy. So the most consistent play for me is to go back on mid lane, and if the Jhin is actually contesting something here or like moving into me, I'm waiting for him because maybe he's following. I could just play with this mid lane wave. And you see I'm actually S-keying here to see, okay, maybe the Jhin is stepping up on the wave. I found him, okay, he is stepping up, and yeah, I'm a bit fat, right? Use his ultimate, but yeah, pretty simple. Like just playing a simple macro. I had the first move before, so now it's kind of hard for the Jhin to connect to his team. And by that, he's just dying. Now I'm just taking another mid wave. Here I'm just fighting the Yone. I should just hold my E. It's really bad what I did. I trolled my E and now I'm not flashing the Q3 from Yone. So by this I die. I don't want to cut this out or something. It's just a mistake that I'm also doing that comes from playing really aggressive, really cocky. So I need to rely on my mechanics. I failed mechanically here once again. So really bad by me. I'm giving away a big shutdown onto the enemy E and I just died. But yeah, you need to trust in your mechanics, and I think the initial play from me was good. I just executed it really bad. Okay, so now my team also died, which is like kind of my bad, because I was the first guy that was getting caught. Here I'm not sure why my Ari is not going in immediately, but I just tried to defend the Nash here. I didn't see the HP. So also I would say here my ultimate not that optimal, but it was still fine. And in the end, I mean, we're getting 3 kills. Sadly, I'm dying to the Jhin because he also still has barrier and has his 4-shot ready. Yeah, but it was still okay. By always having bot prio in this game, luckily my jungler also took every single Drake. That means right now we have soul point, so my team is just doing the soul, and we are getting it basically for free. Okay, and another important point is, again, we are doing the jungle camps here, and you see that the enemies are pushing bot, and my team wants to hard commit on this bot lane play. The issue here is that the enemies will now, like let's say here, just take this bot lane wave, and then we basically have no play left. So it's really, I mean, let's just say it's not optimal to go for this play. And now what I try to do is look on the Jhin again, because this Jhin will think, okay, this Lucian is actually connecting to his team. But in the end, I'm just trapping him. I'm using my pink ward, I mean, I'm just one-shotting. I'm so fat at this point. And yeah, by this, I'm just getting another free kill in. And now I'm moving bot lane because I still want to play this. And now I see 3 people. Okay, but I only have 2 people. So I could fight this probably, maybe look to outplay. But what I do is I play this really safe because I just want my teammates to connect. So I'm chilling here. I know there's a Yone and Bush. So I maybe need to like respect the ultimate or something. So I'm just chilling. I wanted my Malphite to ulti here because then I can just one-shot the Yone with my ult. Sadly, he didn't do it. But it's like fine. All I need to pay attention to is the Yone ultimate. I'm not getting hit by this, so I'm playing it pretty safe, I would say. Like just not letting them get onto me. My Briar also connects. Yeah, and by this, by just playing pretty safe, like nothing special mechanically or something, we got a good fight off. Got another Jhin Flash here off. Just taking every objective basically now. And yeah, by this, the game is pretty much unplayable for the enemies. We're just taking 3 inhibis. And now, really important to mention, a lot of people would just ultimate here and be like, yeah, you can poke them for free. But it's really important to mention that you usually always want to chunk the enemy. If you're like in these sieging situations with the base, you want to chunk the enemy when your minion wave is here, because else you cannot really progress the game. So what I'm doing now is I'm ulting, right? And now we're actually having a minion wave. So if the enemies would need to base now, then we can actually progress this game. So I know all I need to do is pay attention to Yone. Yeah, he didn't get me. And now he actually kills me, like crazy champion. But in the end, we will just be able to finish the game here. And you see, this is kind of how I try to transition my bot lane lead into like this game winning play. Let's just say it like this. Because now, I mean, my team actually dies and we just need to take the Nash and then finish the game. But by this, it was like super easy to play. And you kind of saw that I didn't even play like such a good game. Mechanically, all I did was basically securing these mid lane prio, not skipping like big steps in my game, and like always having really high amount of CS. So you already saw that I had like 200 CS, minute 20 and stuff like this. So I'm pretty far ahead in CS over everyone this game. By that, I also have a lot of items. If you found this helpful, feel free to leave me a follow on YouTube. Also, feel free to check out my coaching Discord if you want. I have a Patreon where I'm uploading either educational, like exclusive content, or my coaching that I'm doing. And I'm wishing you a nice day. Goodbye.